All right. Good morning, everyone. We're here with a handful of Race Across the West racers, Mr. Joe Lawhorn, Tom Guevara, Marko Baloh, and Matthew Lefthand. Good to see you all this morning. I'm going to start with you, Joe. We'll just answer a couple questions, go on down the line, and see how it goes. So you finished Ram. You finished Race Across the East. You thought it'd be good to come back and do Race Across the West. So what do you... Are you ready to do this? Do you prepare any different than you would normally? And talk right into the microphone. You're good. You're good.
So I just ride my bike a lot. That's what I do for the preparation. I've had a lot of bad luck the last 2 weeks. I got a really bad sinus infection and it's in my lungs, but we're going to soldier through and try to get that finished so we have all three.
Did you get out to the desert at all? Because you're not exactly from like the hottest, driest climate in the world up there.
I stopped on my way here in Borrego. Actually saw Lefty out there. I clipped in at noon, the hottest part of the day. Climbed the glass elevator just to see how the desert does. I've always done really well in the desert, the heat. Obviously, I've spent a lot of time in Iraq and Afghanistan, so I'm not wearing body armor, and it's definitely easier mentally.
Bike kit's a little better. You're bringing gears this time, right? You're not riding fixie?
Yeah, but we're already registered for Worlds again with the fixed gear, so
Joe's not a normal human being. He knows that gears have been invented and all, but he just decides to ride single speed type stuff a lot. Well, that's good. We're excited to have you back to finish this triple crown, I guess, of Ram.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to Mr. Tom Guevara. So, Tom, as I understand it, you were a runner, right?
Yes, I started out running.
And your first bike ride was a really long one, right?
No, it was very short, like 35 miles out to, actually my first ride was like a quarter of a mile up to a stop sign and back, and I was exhausted after that. I had to take a nap. Yeah, but my first organized ride was 35 miles, and I saw this little climb, and I go, how am I going to get over that? And it looked pretty difficult and steep, and I made it over, and there I am doing weird stuff.
Yeah, and you've completed the California Triple Crown, which for those of you that don't know is 3 200-mile rides a year, or the Grand Slam's 4, I believe. So how did you get motivated to go from literally a quarter mile down the road to now riding 800 plus miles?
Well, I started out riding with Fresno Cycling, and there was a gentleman there who had done many double centuries, and he asked, have you ever thought about doing a double century? And I said, well, that seems kind of far. He said, well, if you can do 50 miles, you can do 75. If you can do 75, you can do 100. So here I am.
That's some solid logic to a point. But all right, well, it's good to see. I mean, it's a big jump. I've known you for quite a while now, and it's been pretty fun to watch you kind of progress through your riding. And it's always good. It's always good to see you in Texas. It's great to see you here, Mr. Baloh. You are doing something that mic should work too. Mr. Baloh, and I wouldn't expect anything less from you. And we knew it was going to happen at some point. So what Marko is doing is he's riding Race Across the West. He's going to take a little break for a few days and get back on the bike and do Race Across the East. So I'm not worried about your fitness level, because I know you're showing up fit. How do you deal with that mentally? Because I mean, I'll speak for myself, but when I'm done with a race, I'm like kind of done, right? I'm like, I want to go home. I want to have some beers and dinner and not think about getting on a bike or on my feet for a while. How do you think that's going to be off your bike and then back on your bike racing again?
Well, that all depends on the angle you're looking from. If you have done Ram, this should be quite a piece of cake to I mean, it's gonna be a Ram with a nice 4 to 5 days of rest in between. What else could you wish for? So yeah, it was just a nice challenge. I was kind of, even last year when you started with the Race Across the East, I was thinking, I wonder who the first one's gonna be to think about it. So here I am,
Did you prepare any different than you would for any of the Ram races, or did you just kind of approach it the same way?
Actually, it's been quite similar for the last 20 or so years for me. So nothing much. I mean, I'm getting older, smarter maybe. So I'm not going to chase those young studs, or who are probably stronger than me. But yes, it's a long race, so we'll see. Otherwise, the preparation was similar. No hiccups, knock on wood. So we prepared, and Ram is a lot more expensive, so this is going to be a cheaper version of Ram for me.
And I believe that. And speaking of the young guy sitting next to you, Matthew, we're gonna get to him right now. So, Matthew, you're pretty new to this game, only a few years, and you also are a somewhat, I guess, retired or converted runner. How did you go from literally running into not just long distance, but you are a very talented young racer and putting up 500 plus miles at Sebring. I think you set the record at Hoodoo, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and so how was that transition? How did you go, literally to ultra cycling? I mean, that's a big jump.
Yeah, so I was running in marathon training, and then, like most of us ultra cyclists, figure out running sucks. You get injured, and it's not as fun, and I just don't like it as much. But I still do play around with maybe going back to triathlons at some point, who knows. But regardless, I got into cycling as a way to get me back into running. And then after a couple weeks, it was very apparent that cycling was going to be the new thing, because I was already riding century rides within a week or two and signed up for my first race, which was a 208-mile race from Logan, Utah to Jackson, Wyoming. And I was hooked, even though that night I had cramps on both sides of the muscles where you can't straighten out or flex or do anything with it. For some reason, I was just like, yeah, I love that.
I think all these guys are familiar with that feeling.
Yeah.
And it's a miserably good feeling, right? Like, it kind of sucks, but you're like, I feel pretty good at the end of it. I mean, that's a pretty big jump. And what year was that when you did that? Like 5 years ago?
That was just in 2023.
Oh, just a couple years ago.
Yeah, well, 2022, end of 2022. So I've been on the bike for 2.5 years now.
That is a pretty stellar jump. The gentleman sitting next to you, we were talking yesterday about your power numbers, and Marko swears he's not going to chase you. Don't believe
I don't believe it. I told him on Instagram I got to get far enough away, doesn't get too close. But
I hear that all the time. That, even my 61-year-old dad, when he raced Ram, he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to chase anyone." I'm like, all I did was spend 12 days telling him not to chase anyone. So, anyway, we're going to roll back to you, Joe. So, as you're getting ready to roll out for Raw, I know you have you're setting your eyes to come back to Ram, right? Is this kind of a relaunching platform for you?
Yes.
I'm going to make you use that mic, no matter how loud you are.
Yes, actually, Ram was in the cards this year, but when I got home last year from Red, it was really hard on my boy because he's so young. So we paused it for one more year. And then Heather's like, why don't you be the first to do Race Across the West, Race Across the East, and Race Across America? So we pivoted, and that's the plan. And yes, Ram 2026 is the official notice.
There you go.
So
and that's tough. I mean, you just mentioned, you have actually, I think all you guys have families. And how do you balance? Like, I know you have a house full of dogs, rescue dogs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And a wife and kids, and you ride your bike a lot.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate being retired military, so my only have to do is get the boy to school and pick him up. So I drop him off to school, then I clock in on the bike and basically ride my bike until he gets out of school, and I pick him up and we go home.
Good for you. And you also, I'm going to let you plug your races here. Better take this chance because you just dove into my job. And how's the other end of the racing world as an event producer, and what are the two events?
I have gained a lot of patience and respect for any race director.
I'm going to take that. I just want to soak that in a little bit.
And I actually go to bat for race directors all the time now, playing the devil's advocate. Like, hey, let me tell you. And yeah, we have a great gravel race that is gaining a lot of momentum. that has the normal distances of 40, 60, and 100 miles. But then we have a 300-mile category that has 34,000 feet of climbing. We've had 15 people attempt it, only 4 have accomplished it. And then, as you know, we started the Midwest Time Trial Championship, which is a 6, a 12, and a 24-hour time trial. The course is basically a photocopy of Borrego. It's the course that I use to train on for Borrego. And that's July 26th, and it's a RAM qualifier. So thank you for that.
Our pleasure. Thank you for producing it, and good luck with all of it. And Mr. Tom Guevara, again, you're not just racing raw for you. You got a little higher purpose. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, one of the opportunities about racing RAM raw race across the East, you have the opportunity to ride for a cause. And our cause is the Paul Moore Scholarship Fund. There you go, at Kerman High School in Kerman. And Paul Moore was a friend of ours, and he was also a teammate. We participated in RAM in 2012. He enjoyed life. He couldn't wait to retire so he could do what he loves to do. And unfortunately, about 3.5 years ago, he was out enjoying his ride when he was tragically struck by a vehicle and was killed. So that's why they are doing the Paul Moore Scholarship Fund at Kerman High School to honor him, and that's why we are riding for Paul Moore.
Yeah, and you just did a presentation there recently, right? Or was it a graduation, or you?
Yes, it was a presentation for his scholarship.
Very cool. Well, we hope you have a lot of success in both areas. I mean, we all sit here as cyclists and know it's a pretty selfish pursuit, that we're riding our bike and enjoying our fitness, our fun, our competition. And you forget there's a lot of people out there, families and friends, that have suffered along the way. So it's really nice to have people do that type of thing and remember what it's like not just to take care of yourself. Mr. Marko Baloh, so with Raw and Race Across the East, does this mean you're coming back for your 11th RAM? Is it in the books?
Not yet. I'm always thinking about it. The money is the problem, you know how it is with the...
Dr. Vince will pay for it.
Okay, yeah. So, I won't say no, I don't know. I would like to do it, so if we can raise, the thought is kind of maybe go for 60 plus, because I own at the moment 50 plus record.
How old are you?
60 is not that far away.
Oh, come on.
Couple years.
Really?
2.
Oh, you look good, man. Just keep riding your bike.
Thanks. Yeah, that helps for sure.
Well, in that, like, how does that change your perception of how you go race? I mean, you're sitting next to a really young guy who's just going to start hitting his stride, and
I mean, it's fun. I was serious before when I said, obviously you go and try to catch somebody, but I'm not that much affected by it anymore. I just try to do my best, and I love racing those young guys, because it's a challenge. I don't know, it's just something I love to do. Obviously, ride a bike, and also helping others to do those races, because I'm also a coach, so my coaching business. Oh, this year I only have one RAM rider, which is a downer, but okay, maybe next year will be more.
Matthew speaks very highly of your help and guidance as well, and it is, we were just talking about it before we all got here, that the sport is really, even though you're all out there competing against each other at whatever level you're at, you all are pretty helpful to each other in guiding and getting people there. Like, was Yuri that to you as well? Or like, did you and Yuri kind of?
Not much. Yuri was a little bit later than me, but we were together in it. Yeah, we were friends before. But yeah, thank you for mentioning it. That's probably the thing that keeps you in it, for 20 plus years myself. Because the camaraderie and familiarity, I don't know, it's kind of a family, You race against each other for sure. You're kind of in a bad mood if somebody passes you and beats you, but yeah, it still feels like a family. We help each other, so it's that kind of thing that gets you coming back.
Yeah, it's one of the things we love for sure about having everyone come. I think we have 17 or 18 countries represented this year, and it's pretty cool to have everyone come over here. And a lot of them, even the veterans, are nervous, and everyone's kind of nervously happy until they get on the road. And everyone hates doing this stuff because they're like, we just want to ride our bikes. So in which case, I'm not going to keep you much longer. But Matthew, I got a couple more questions for you, because you as well are riding not in memory because your mother's still alive, but she's battling breast cancer, right?
Correct.
And so you've kind of dedicated your racing season to her.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so earlier this year, when I decided to go all in on ultra racing, I was kind of counting on my previous year to be similar to this year. And then my mom got sick, and life changes and job changes and everything. So you were asking Joe about how do you balance it all with family and kids and everything. And sometimes it's not balanced, but then you balance it out at other times. You spend more time with your family here, you spend racing time here, and you just kind of make it all work. And one of those factors was that my mom, who helps a lot with family and watching our kids, she got sick earlier this year and went in and ended up having breast cancer. And so she's been going through chemo for several weeks, and she has several weeks left, and then surgeries. And so one of the things when I was thinking about what do I race for beyond myself and pushing myself, which I love all on its own, we all do, right? But doing it for something else makes it extra special, and it just made a lot of sense that this is going to be for my mom. And so we even did a fundraiser when I did a indoor world record event here a few weeks ago, and got a lot of money for her and had a whole event out of it, and it made the event extra special. Of course, it's amazing to say you got a world record, you did something that no one else has ever done, but then to represent my mom there that day was extra special, someone who's carried me through so much.
Yeah, for most people, without their parents, they don't get to go do a lot of these things, You're very lucky that you had her support, of course, and now you supporting her is exceptionally kind. And you also have another kind of interesting thing about Raw. You're part Navajo, I believe, right?
Yes, yeah.
And so if your father.
Yeah, I'm half Navajo. Yeah.
And so what do you think about it? You're going to ride right along through Navajo lands.
Yep, yeah, my family's all from down here. My grandpa came from Loop and my Arizona, and my grandma's from Sanasti, New Mexico, and I have an aunt who lives in Prescott, and so we're going to go right through there, and it's a special place for sure. And I wasn't actually born Matthew Lefthand, I was born Matthew Johnson. There's this whole story about my grandpa and grandma coming off of the reservation, going to a doctor, and them saying you need English names, because that was the time of the day. My grandparents were born in the 19-teens, so my dad's pretty young for them. And so they needed an English name, and so the doctor just said, well, Johnson, because my last name's Johnson. So they just were given this last name, and my family's had that for a couple generations now. But I have family members who were left-hand back in the day, and that was my middle name when I was born. So me and my brother, I guess 12, 13 years ago, changed back to left-hand to honor that heritage and to remember where we came from and where family's from. So it's pretty special to be racing right through the reservation. I'm kind of joking that maybe the ancestors will just carry me along through there. And I was scouting out the wind, and it's actually a little bit of a tailwind there right now forecasted. So maybe they'll just blow me along and then blow whoever else maybe not along, and we'll see what happens.
Never doubt the ancestors. It's actually pretty cool to go back. I think a lot of cultural history and family history is forgotten, and especially in the American Indian world, it's being wiped out faster than it's being saved. Yeah. So that's very cool of you. I am not going to keep you guys any longer. I know you want to go rest, relax, ride your bikes, do anything but sit here. So thank you all very much, and I will see you all tomorrow at about noon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rick.
My pleasure.